Can you tell me a story of where you've pushed the team to eliminate unnecessary complexity?
There's a few that come to mind. Some of it just actually relates to the way that people try out our products. So something about Samsara that people sometimes don't appreciate is in order to adopt technology and operations, you sometimes need to install a piece of hardware. There's some software configuration and so on. A lot of that, by the way, can be made plug and play. So it used to be that in order to install technology, you needed to be an engineer. You need to have someone come on site and splice a bunch of wires or write some code, or there was like a little bit of a hurdle. Something we emphasized very early here was, well, how do we simplify it so it just always lands on its feet, just works out of the box? That is something that enabled us to do free trials. So in other words, we don't even need to set foot on site. If you're up for it, you can just plug this thing in and try it out for yourself and experience the technology. That's a radical simplification of the customer experience. It's very complicated behind the scenes, but the result was we were able to grow our business very quickly because we could essentially engage with people over Zoom or on the phone, convince them that they wanted to try it out, and then just send them a unit or 5 units or something like that.
That's cool. I love that, and I want to get to Samsara in just a second here, but I want to go back a little bit to Meraki. What do you think were the one or two smartest strategic bets that you made that really helped the company scale?
Well, like many businesses, we were lucky to be in the right place at the right time. So we were starting a company that was making it easy to deploy Wi-Fi in the mid 2000s. That was we started in 2006. That was about the year before the iPhone was introduced. So we ended up in the right place at the right time in the sense that all of a sudden after the iPhone and then eventually the iPad and so on came out, people wanted Wi-Fi. They wanted guest Wi-Fi to offer to their clients and their customers and that kind of thing. We were just really lucky that happened. Now, from a strategic perspective, we had a sense that there were going to be a number of challenges with doing that at scale, right? It would have to be secure. It'd have to be easy to set up. You'd need lots of great coverage. And so we set up the product and the company to be ambitious in that sense. We didn't just do hardware, for example. We did the software, we did the configuration, we did the security and everything. And so strategically, that ambition paid off when the complexity really went up for the customer and they needed something that just was all in one, that worked entirely. The same thing paid off years later as we continued to be ambitious. We built Ethernet switches and routers. These are all the building blocks of a big network. We didn't just stop at Wi-Fi. In other words, we kind of built everything the customer needed. And then we saw customers saying, hey, I love what you guys have done for Wi-Fi. I need that for my whole network. Can you do that? And we were in that right place at the right time. So the ambition, I think, is really key.